Are Smoke and Stack from the movie Sinners good twin representation? And let's talk about it. Oh yeah, here's my twin.
Hi, I'm Twin.
Also, full spoiler warnings ahead, you've been warned. So right off the bat, Michael B. Jordan plays both twins, which is usually something I don't like, because it kind of implies twins are clones of each other, but Sinners does a lot to set them apart. Let's talk about their characters, and in part 2, which will be linked in the comments as I speak, I'll talk about the overall plot. So twins should essentially feel like normal siblings, and Smoke and Stack did. They dressed differently, had different personalities, had different relationships in a way that felt realistic. It would have been easy to over-exaggerate their characters to set them apart, but they had nuance, which I really appreciate. As a twin, a lot of their scenes were relatable. Like, I love the way that they had disagreements, but always came to an understanding. In some scenes, it really felt like I was watching my twin sister and I bicker. Also, both of them sharing a cigarette was really funny and real. My sister and I share a lot of ridiculous stuff. I also love how they introduced them, showed you their dynamic, and then quickly split them apart. You know, they were allowed to be an individual person who can exist outside of their twin. And believe it or not a lot of shows or movies do that. So, this is amazing. But moving on to their nicknames, Smoke and Stack. Yes, they sound similar, but I'm assuming they chose those nicknames themselves, which is real as hell. I go by Blue Moon online, and I go by Red Moon, so I really can't say anything about this. Even if their nicknames were given to them, they're taking advantage of that notoriety. And I support twins taking advantage of twin stereotypes for their own gain. But I also love how their nicknames have a deeper meaning. Stack gives out money and is more business-minded, while Smoke smokes but also brings the smoke, as he was the one who killed their dad for beating Stack unconscious, which I do the fucking same. Even their color coding has a deeper meaning because it plays into their personalities. Smoke is more cold, logical, and reserved, while Stack is more fiery, carefree, and extroverted. Also, their colors could be relating to the gangs they were involved in back in Chicago. You know, blue for Irish and red for Italian. So with that being said, them being color-coded has a story reason to be there. So I don't mind it. But moving on to their real names, Elijah and Elias. I hate when twins are named extremely similarly. In the story, it's never really explained, so I'd prefer if they just had entirely different sounding names. Especially because it's not story relevant. I guess their dad was a shitty person, so that could kind of explain it. And their names could mean God is near, which plays into the biblical parts of the story. And sure, I like that, but again, they still could have had entirely different sounding names that still held the same meaning. So that's really my only gripe. But I'm not done yapping, look in the comments for part 2.